I met a gypsy.
Dude, so straight up, first video I ever like did a clickbait title. I don't know if you've seen it pop up on YouTube, but it's Travis Pastrana going, Brian Deegan was the real sellout, and it's almost got 1 million views. It was literally the first video I ever clickbaited, and I was fucking tripping posting it, because I was like, dude, I know this will get like good views. I'd literally never had views on YouTube at this point, and I'd met you in person a bunch of times. I was like, dude, Deegan's actually the nicest guy. I was like, I hope he's not pissed off at this.
Yeah,
I mean, in that video.
Yeah, that's how I figured out who you were. Yeah, that video right there. That was the one that came on my social media. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, what is this? I'm like, and I was looking at it, I'm like, and it was Pastrana, and then I was like, I have to watch it. And so I watched it, and I was like, oh, all right, I see what they're doing here. And but it was cool because Pastrana, I like how he said it. And of anyone who could say it, he could say it, right? He has the credibility to say whatever freak he wants to say. But yeah, and it was cool. I like how he played it out, and I thought it was funny. But yeah, that's how I figured out who you were and how I figured out how everything was on that. That was a good play though. It worked. I assume that's probably one of your best viewed videos for sure.
It is still to this day my best viewed video, dude. So what? So let's see if we can get it to hit twice. Yeah. I want to clickbait the shit out of this next one. But like, what's your response to like that? Like, what was your mindset in, to what Travis was talking about, where like he was always being himself and playing like I think Trav was so naive to like it seemed like you were the one that had the long game for everybody, and everyone else just had to do their thing, and it seemed like you kind of had the map laid out, and everybody just had to like play their part, and it was going to work out for everybody, but you had to look like a bit of a dick to make it happen.
Yeah, I felt like, the bottom line is I always had a plan. I always had it. Like I said, till to this day, I have plans, right, for everything. And I had a plan, I said, okay, we're going to X Games. People are starting to pay me to put their logos on my dirt bike. And that's when I was like, man, why am I not promoting my own company? Like, why are people paying me essentially to make their brands cool? That's why you sponsor athletes. That's why you... Bottom line, why do you pay an athlete to wear your brand? Because you're making it cool for them. That's the fact. So I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I not promoting my own brands? And that's when I said, you know what? And I'd met Larry and a few of the guys, and we, the militia thing kicked off. And I was like, okay, I'm representing the militia, and this is, we're the evil side, and we're all black and spikes, and Pastrana's the good guy, and he really was the goody two-shoe guy, And so we did turn that whole image got turned up on ESPN, and I'm like, you know what? Here we go. We got the cameras, we got all the attention. We're going for it. Like we're throwing this one all the way, and it blew up, and people got behind it, and we were the dudes we were representing all the people who got in trouble, all the rebels, and we represented that, and Travis was the good guy. And yeah, that brought us a lot of endorsement deals. I mean, dude, I had the biggest endorsement deals, and we were like the roughest dudes, which was pretty cool. And so I know Travis said, oh, that's a sellout, like he took his shot, but I'm like, yeah, I guess it's a way to say that we capitalized on who we were and our image for sure. And I think he did play the good guy, and he was the goody two shoe, like we started
all American
boy, to the point where we even started questioning him. We were like, and at the time before, whatever, this was 20 years ago, we were like, he's so goody two shoe, and he's so this, that, and we were rebel dudes, like partying after the event and getting in fights and this, I was like, does this dude, like, who is he? Like, what is he even like girls? Does he even like, is he even like, is he even party? Does he even like, is he even a true, like, badass dirt biker, and that's kind of like the way we saw it, we're like who is this dude? Like, he walked away from racing, and at first I'm like, man, he just walked away from Factory Ride and all the things I wish I had when I was racing. And at first I had a lot of questions, dude. I'm like, is this dude even really, is he for real? Is Travis Pastrana, is he for real? That was like kind of my deal. And I was always kind of anti-Pastrana because he was a guy who took the gold medals, man. Like, you know, he was a dude taking food off our plate. So, yeah, we had it out for him for sure. And then at some point he just kept playing that goody two-shoe deal. And at some point I'm like, is that real? Is it a hype? Is it this, that? And it took me many years to go, you know what, dude? The dude was so gnarly. I watched him do so much gnarly stuff that I had to respect him. At some point, I'm like, dude, he may act like a total dork, but I'm like, this dude does gnarly stuff. Like, I'm like, he does stuff that I don't want to do, and so I have to give him credit, man. And he earned my respect because I really did not like Travis Pastrana for a while there, yeah.
Well, it makes sense too, right? Like, there's a couple different levels. Yeah. Like, this is the kind of stuff I just love about dirt bikes. I love these storylines and trying to get in the minds of like how this stuff played out, because he was like the antithesis of you as a racer. And like got the factory rides and like could never say a thing wrong, and no matter what he did, he was always like the golden boy. And then that was like the racer thing. And then you like, fuck racing, I'm going to freestyle where like this bullshit doesn't exist. Yeah. And then you go to freestyle, and then that bullshit comes and starts taking all the medals. Yeah. And like it just seemed like this, you know, I could see it would have felt like this kid was like following you around and just kind of crushing it. Yeah. And to speak on that as well is like, maybe the militia didn't hit as good without the polarity of Travis Pastrana, without that goody two shoes and the bright white knight of Travis Pastrana. Maybe like the black, you know, the Black Sabbath of the metal militia just doesn't hit. Yeah,
I like who would we hated like if he wasn't around? Who were we going against? You know, was all freestyle dark and evil? Yeah. And no, Travis Pastrana helped build the militia. Like he really did. Like at the end of the day, like he can say whatever he wants. He can hate the metal militia. He was a big part of building it, dude. Like, you know, like you don't have the guy in the white hat without the guy in the black hat. Like, you know, he did help us polarize, you know, the militia. And at the end of the day, the funny thing is, I think we finally wore off on him later in life, and he became the party guy. I was like, he went from goody t-shirt guy to the party guy. Like, and he, you know, whatever. I get it. You got to kind of hide it at times to play the image, you know. But he definitely took the turn to be like what we were. He became, and so I think we rubbed off on him. I think the metal militia rubbed off on Travis Pastrana for sure.
Yeah, and it's so cool that you know, it never got dark with you guys. Yeah. You know, like sometimes you can see rivalries and you're like, ooh, it's getting dark. Yeah. But it's like it never really seemed like it got dark. It was just the right amount of fuel for the fire, and like I said, there was that polarity, you know, like you guys were the counterculture and he was the culture that you were counter to.
Yeah, he was the factory rider, but you know what? He came over, and I think he respected the freestyle scene. He brought a lot of innovation over. I mean, he wasn't like really he didn't pull up in the Suzuki factory semi, right? Like you know, like he came, he was the Red Bull deal, and he would create these dirt bikes that the bars would spin, or he had like these different secret. Like he just was a big innovator for the sport, which I respected. And the one thing I thought, you know, he made a lot of bad decisions when he like left racing. He was a national champion. He could have been probably a 250 champion in Supercross. And, you know, he walked away from a factory ride to do freestyle motocross, to do action sports, race cars, do all fun things. And I'm like, dude, I can't. Like at first I thought he was really dumb for doing that. And then I look back at it, I'm like, man, he was the first one to break the chain. He was the first one to go, I am a multi-skilled athlete. I can ride dirt bikes. I can do freestyle. I can race cars. That opened my eyes to go, dude, I'm going to do the same thing. He's the one who paved the way to go, okay, once I got out of dirt bikes competitively, I got into off-road truck racing. I got into rallycross. I'm like, whoa, dude, he was the first talent athlete to break the ice. And, I followed suit. I jumped right into it. I won truck championships. I won Rallycross X Games gold and Rallycross. And that was really from what I saw Travis do, And so at the end of the day, dude, he threw up the big middle finger to the industry, and he capitalized times 10, right? He did what most factory people are like, don't become him because this will happen to you. And you're like, what? Become a multi-time millionaire, and create a whole movement in the sport, right? And so I don't know if that could ever happen again. I don't know if who's one of the up and coming guys, not my kid, but who's one of these up and coming kids.
Jet or something.
Jet Lawrence just gets his factory Honda ride, this, that, and he's like, you know what? I'm out. I'm going to go create a new sport, and you're going to follow me, and we're going to blow it up. What, kid, is that even going to happen? Could that even really happen again?
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.